Hello, everybody. All right, so the other day on stream, we went over a single article about pesticides in the industry and how much of a problem it's causing and all these different things that are going on. And I only checked out one article, and it came from a study that was done in Washington by like this independent group of people. So I figure it might be a good idea to go ahead and look into the whole like industry, see if there's any pesticides in this industry. Holy shit, all these fucking pop-ups that are coming up. Look at all of the possible pesticide problems that are going on, what regulations we have in place, what are we allowed to use, what are we actually being fed through the cannabis dispensaries. Because whatever they end up spraying on their plants ends up in our lungs. Emerging diseases of cannabis sativa and sustainable management. What the fuck is wrong with me? Emerging disease of cannabis sativa and sustainable management. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to read. Pesticides in cannabis, a review. Wow. Right here. National Library of Medicine. Pesticides in cannabis, a review of analytical and technological considerations. So we're going to go into this article, see if they actually go over anything important. In Washington, they did the study on the dispo stuff, and 33 out of 37 of the samples, I believe the numbers were, came back that they were using dangerous levels and dangerous pesticides on their cannabis and just selling that to people. And I have a video coming out in like a couple of hours. 4 hours now, 3 hours coming out about pesticides and what they're doing in that specific article. But today I want to do a deeper dive. So, abstract, a review of the literature surrounding the use, analysis, and detection of pesticide material for cannabis cultivation is presented. To the use of pesticides in crop cultivation is not new, and cannabis crops are no exception, which I kind of talked about. Studies have found that the use of these are common, and the high levels of pesticides are transferred into the cannabis smoke. The most common pesticide classes association with cannabis are insecticides, arachnicides, and fungicides. Over 350 different pesticide products may be used on cannabis materials, and of these, 16 pesticides and 3 plant growth regulators, PGR, are considered to be the main candidates. Many of the pesticides found in cannabis samples destined for consumption are classed as moderately hazardous, which we don't need. I mean, the smoke itself is I guess you could argue that it's moderately hazardous because it is hot air that you're inhaling. But on its own, it's relatively fine, but poison obviously is something you should avoid. By the World Health Organization, which we can trust with all our heart. Analytical methods and pesticide detection on cannabis are being developed with a view to implementing quality control of cannabis where it is legal before being sold. However, no standardized protocol exists, which we desperately need standardized protocol for these things. Why is it that we're testing for microbes, microorganisms in buds and you have to pass a certain test for that, but they're not testing for pesticides. Like microbes are kind of just there, right? If you do a home grow, it's not like I'm sending my stuff to get tested for microbes. And people have been smoking brickweed for decades before we even thought of a medical market. Not saying that's good, but why are we so worried now about the wrong things? Ooh, that makes me upset. The pesticide levels found in cannabis are samples tested were generally low. These results do not, however, provide information on chronic low dose adverse effects of the pesticide in relation to the cannabis consumption, which a lot of us stoners, man, we're using that. We're chronically using that. Currently, no research exists on the toxicity of pyrolized pesticides in humans from smoking cannabis. It can't be good. More studies are needed to further understand the potentially harmless or harmful health threat. Why don't you look at what it's doing to the bugs, man? Call me crazy, but we're not that different from bugs. Really not that different from bugs. Like, sure, we look different and we act different, but we're all bodies made by Mother Nature. Let's see if there's any actually cannabis chemistry, cannabis toxicity, hazardous substances. This website is too smart and therefore confusing, so I'm going to go for a different one. Because your boy needs the low IQ websites. Test for pesticide in cannabis. Wow, Jesus Christ. Are you done? Are you fucking... Sure, I'll accept your cookies, I don't give a shit. Pesticide extraction using... Wow, that's a fucking thing. Capital Q, lowercase u, uppercase E, C, lowercase h, uppercase ER, lowercase s, and capital SPE method. Are you meeting pesticide regulations? Yes. Yes, I am. As the legalization of medical and recreational cannabis continues to expand through the states, or in the states, regulations to protect patients and customers are also increasing, while the level and type of allowable pesticides, which should be very low, differ from state to state. Pesticide regulations are in a place wherever cannabis is legal, as they should be. In order to test the levels of the pesticide, you need to extract the pesticide from the cannabis flower to analyze it. So you need to extract it from the flower to analyze it. Interesting. Because they were saying that it wasn't showing up as much in the bud, but it was showing up drastically in the extracts. So the fact that you need to extract it in the first place is a little bit weird and a little bit contradictory. There are several ways to do this. Extraction of the pesticide from the flower is typically done using the first acronym we went over, extraction. The extraction can then be analyzed with liquid or gassed. Wow. Chromatography to determine the types of pesticides and the concentration levels of individual pesticides. The data allows the researcher to determine if the level of pesticides present in the cannabis within the regulations required by the state and United States Environmental Protection (EPA) QUECHERS extractions. Should we just QRShish? Extraction methods poses its own limitations as more laboratories are adopting the techniques such as solid phase extraction SPE and other dilution methods to test the complete range of possible detectable pesticides as regulations and laws rapidly change in the quickly growing industry. Both methods are the two methods popular for the cleanup phase when analyzing pesticides in cannabis. So we're going to go over the first extraction method, but do you guys have any like cliff notes so far or anything like you guys want to input into the conversation or questions about this whole type of thing? Q extractions has been used in the agriculture industry and more specifically in the cannabis industry for years, which the cannabis industry is very new. So saying for years, it usually means like 3. That's what got me into growing. I worked for a dispensary, and after getting to tour the grow, raised concern with multiple chemicals marked not safe for human consumption. I was told it was the norm. So there are a lot of things that go into cannabis cultivation that aren't for human consumption. For example, if I were to point right over there, none of those nutrient bottles I would drink out of. The pH up and the pH down, I would not drink out of. I wouldn't drink water mixed with dish soap and peppermint extract. And I also wouldn't want to drink that Clonex. But that is also a good point, especially if you're talking about chemicals specifically being sprayed on the plants. That causes a huge concern for me because I'm not putting any of those things on the plant that I'm going to be consuming except for the mint extract, but I'm not putting that on the part of the plant that I am consuming because I don't do that after we flip the flower. I go towards other means of keeping those pests away. And even if I have to resort to having a bottle in there with holes in it, with the solution in there to keep the smell up, to keep those bugs away, that's something I might have to look towards. But for now, yeah, there's a lot of things that aren't for human consumption, even when it comes to a home grow. But making your own medicine is definitely going to be the way to go. But where were we? The initial extraction and separation step uses organic solvents and salt solutions to extract the required analytes into solution. The step extracts a range of chemicals interference that removed during the subsequent cleanup stage of the extraction. Also, Legion's Laboratory, very happy to see you. Glad you made it to the stream. Extraction cleanup kits provide effective sample preparation for solid sample metrics developed to conform with the documented AOAC 2007 and EN 1562 or 1566-2 protocols. Telos Q offer a complete solution for both salt and assisted sample. And by the way, when I say Q, I'm talking about that first acronym that we went over. So I'm just calling it Q. And Disperve SPE, a user-friendly salt pack, makes the transfer of the salt to the required configure tube rapid and easy while generating minimal waste. 6 different Telos Q extraction kits support all AOAC 2007 and EN 1566-2 methodologies. The kits are supplied with or without 50 milliliter centrifuge tubes. Jesus Christ, I'm learning new vocabulary words all over the place. With the latter also available in homogenizer beads to break up of more complex samples. So if that meant anything to any of you guys, they have a little diagram down here that goes through the two methodologies, the AOAC and the EN 1566-2, or EN 1566-2. That's what I said. SPE extraction method, a better solution. So this is just the extraction methods and not actually talking about the pesticides that they use, but that's pretty interesting. Into the weeds, regulating pesticides in cannabis. This comes from EHP or NIEHS.nih.gov, EPH Publishing. Wow. Outside Sonoma Lab Works, otherwise ordinary building in a anonymous business park. The distinct odor of pot pervades the air, or pervades the air. However, it's not just any pot. It is the smell of strictly regulated, professionally cultivated, rigorously tested legal cannabis, which are a bunch of words in a row that I don't like having put in the same sentence. But to each their own. I guess professionally cultivated, but rigorously tested can also be good for like breeding, but like I don't need to test everything in my weed. If it smells good, if it works, and you know like what I can use it for, that's all I really need to know. I don't need to know like what its DNA looks like and shit. Past the heavily tinted front door, the airy 8,000 square foot facility is filled with fluorescent light and the hum of machines. Anyone who has ever visited a university chemistry, well, yeah, I wouldn't drink fertilizer either, but the PGRs have been banned since the 60s because carcinogens and pesticides that are a neurotoxin. It's problematic for people with compromised systems. Yep. Yeah, we get into that in the video that's actually coming out in 3 hours, a little less than 3 hours now, where I don't want to spoil it, but something does happen with those banned substances, those banned, pesticides that is very unfortunate and made me very upset. Anyone who has ever visited a university chemistry department will recognize the long white coats, which I also recognize because I work at a hot dog factory. I was told it's because it's federally legal. It doesn't fall under EPA or FDA regulations. You're damn right, brother. It's called freedom. It's called fucking freedom. And we are free to ruin the lives of people. That is what we are free to do in America. If nothing else, that is what we're allowed to do. That was a little bit of a hot take, but it's fucking true. Anyone who has read a government document knows that through and through. Located on the outskirts of Santa Rosa, California, the lab works is one of 49 independent third-party laboratories statewide tasked with the ensuring that the state's legal weed is also clean, which being clean is a good thing. It is not a simple task. For a price of $890 per sample. Holy Lord. They will run a full panel of tests on any cannabis-based product in accordance with the strict new state regulations rolled out over the course of 2018. Using instruments costing hundreds of thousands of dollars each. I'm going to scroll down here real quick, don't mind me. Hundreds of thousands of dollars each. Trained technicians take high precision measurements of potency, moisture content, residual solvents, heavy metals, mycotoxins, which is new for me, microbial, microbial impurities, and pesticides. Sup, bro? How's it going, AB? Good to see you again. We're just talking about pesticides, just kind of vibing, learning about what kind of poison they're allowed to put in our stuff, and how much, and how they test it, and all that good stuff. Because I did a stream a couple days ago where I happened to come across an article that got me really interested in this topic, and I'm trying to bust the door a little bit and open my understanding about what exactly is going on. My friend was just talking to me about that. That is an interesting coincidence. But yeah, I'm just wondering what they're actually allowed to do, what kind of questions I need to ask at the dispensary, what exactly they can put in there. Because I know for, oh, what did Legion's Laboratory said? What did he said? Great English. PGRs. Yeah, PGRs. They've been banned since the 60s, but they're not federally banned. So they can technically use them, I guess. That is unfortunate to hear. I hope they're doing okay. I hope they're doing okay. Allergic reactions can sometimes have almost died. Jesus Christ, that's fucking tragic. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope they're doing okay now because that stuff can have like really bad, long-lasting effects, and I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. We go over something in the video that's coming out. This is kind of going to be a downer stream, I guess. Pesticides, products that do not meet the state standards cannot be sold legally anyway. So this is kind of making me understand why weed costs so much in certain places and from certain dispensaries. Because this testing does cost a lot of money, and if they need to test every single, like, they obviously don't need to test every single bud, but if they have to send a sample from every single plant, that could get costly, apparently, because it's like almost $900 per sample. But yeah, the pesticide shit is absolutely wild. And since this is a new market and we have a lot of people getting into it and people who have never smoked weed are smoking weed now, have you done a vid on trim and curing? If not, will you? Yeah, I'll actually see if I can drop a link real quick. Give me a second. I've done a lot of videos on actually how to trim and cure weed. Do you want like a visual, like me showing you how to do it, or does it not matter, or do you just want an explanation on it? Let's see if I go to popular. So we have how to burp weed. If you go to my channel and search popular, how to burp weed will be like the 4th highest viewed video. And then give me a second. Because I have somewhere I'm showing like a session of burping of like cannabis plants. Trimming and curing. I think those would be 2 separate videos. One second, we'll get there. My White Widow is almost ready to harvest. I'm flushing it now, so it'll be ready. So it'll really help. Oh, I passed something that looked... Oh, no, that was a strain review. Here, I'll send you my burping cannabis video, how to do it. I'll just go ahead and drop that. That'll be the how to burp cannabis video. Google marijuana and paraquat. Is it? I don't think it matters. Paraquat or paraquat. 1970s paraquat pot farm. Mexico comes to the USA. Is that what you're talking about? Or do you want me to look at tainted, the problem with pot and pesticides? Which one are we looking at here? Or do you just want me to look at the history of paraquat in general? That's fucking tragic. All right. Well, we'll read an article here just a second. I'm trying to find a video that'll help our boy AB over here with their White Widow. Are you trying to dry trim AB, or are you trying to wet trim? Which one are you thinking you're going into? I'll just do since you're talking about poisoning marijuana. Hey man, I appreciate it. Good to see you, Fufu. Better late than never. I haven't seen you in a stream in a while. We'll just do the true story of how the U.S. government tried to kill weed smokers with a toxic chemical in the 1980s. That sounds exactly what the fuck you're talking about, Legions. So, the chemical known as paraquat is a herbicide. Wow, an herbicide sprayed over marijuana fields in Mexico in the 1970s with the aid of U.S. money and U.S. provided helicopters, and over marijuana fields in Georgia in the 1980s under the direction of the Reagan administration. Those motherfuckers. I fucking hate the Reagan administration with every fucking fiber of my being. Everything they do is fucking awful. I would have a hard time coming up with something good they did. Fuck them. Probably light wet trim, but mostly dry trim. It's literally fuck Reagan. Let's get an F for Reagan in the chat. Everyone just drop a fucking F Reagan. But normally anything poisonous enough to kill plants is also toxic enough to kill humans. Hey, fucking imagine that. Same shit I was talking about the bugs. God damn it. Opening random shit. What the fuck is going on? Jesus Christ. Yeah, and that is the case for paraquat. I'm glad to see the F's in the chat. Paraquat is an organic acid that is used as an herbicide. It kills the green plant tissue on contact. When sprayed on a plant, paraquat is tasteless and odorless and invisible. In other words, you wouldn't be able to tell if the weed you were smoking had been sprayed with paraquat. That is a fucking crazy thing, dude. Holy shit. Reagan was literally out here trying to lethally roofie an entire fucking nation just because he doesn't like marijuana. Get a load of that shit. Odorless, tasteless. What is that goddamn song? The song about a woman getting abused and then she like poisoned her husband because she was tired of getting beat, and then the cops just never discovered what the fuck. That's exactly what Reagan tried to do to everybody, dude. Oh my goodness. As far as breathable poisons go, the government has placed paraquat toxicity category 1, the highest possible level, because the Reagan administration, they only want the best poison to give to our American citizens because they love them so much. They poisoned alcohol too during the Prohibition. Yep, I could see that happening. As far as breathable poison goes, due to the fact that it is cheap and available. Hey, just like fuck, what is that powder they used as snow in the Wizard of Oz, the original one? Asbestos. Just like asbestos. It's cheap. It gets everywhere, and goddamn it, it'll kill you. Liquid paraquat is frequently used in suicides throughout much of the third world. In humans, exposure to paraquat has been linked to the development of Parkinson's disease. Depending on the dose and the method, ingestion paraquat can either be immediately fatal or can lead to kidney, liver, and lung and heart failure for up to 30 days after exposure. Holy shit. That is fucking horrifying. Could you imagine? Oh my god. Cliff, organic grow is the way to go. Don't use urine. Urine is technically organic. What are you talking about? Um, 1970s. Wow. Okay, no, I think I skipped over something. A test performed in 1977 demonstrated that combusted paraquat caused damage to the lungs of laboratory rats. And in 1978, after years of attempting to reassure Americans that smoking paraquat tainted marijuana was safe, U.S. Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare Joseph fucking Califano announced that the new test found that heavy smokers of tainted weed could develop irreversible lung damage, that even moderate users could develop chronically measurable damage. So, shout out to Joseph. He's my boy. Getting this shit figured out. Fuck Reagan. One of the worst presidents ever. Objectively speaking. Not even fucking my opinion. Just objectively speaking, worst ever. We've had some shitty ones. Don't get me wrong. But I fucking hate Reagan. In 1969, the Nixon White House made marijuana eradication the top priority. So also fuck Nixon. Rather than attempting to stop the flow of drugs through the border, scientists began looking for a way to directly accommodate. Wow, is that accommodate? Contaminate marijuana itself. They organically developed a spray that was intended to make users nauseous, but was shelved. In 1975, the part of Operation Clearview, the Nixon administration started supplying Mexico with $15 million annually in aid, including helicopters designed to spray marijuana and poppy fields with herbicides. So let's get an F for the Nixon administration also, because holy shit, we're doing some evil shit over here in the Nixons and the Reagans. Officials had recommended spraying marijuana fields with herbicides. Their stated intent was to kill the drug at its source by spraying the fields, but In deeply impoverished Mexico, where the 1970 harvesting marijuana could make the difference between a yearly income of 200 and one of 5,000, many growers simply harvested poisoned marijuana and shipped it north anyway. Which, holy shit, we're doing the same thing today. Nothing's changed. In this box, the chapter on drugs said the dope worth shooting was Ronald Reagan. That's a fact. That is fat facts. I'll just put a... I'll put fat facts with a fucking K. Right in there. Fat facts. According to one report, an American helicopter pilot was getting high on oxycane weed while he was spraying fields below him with paraquat. What the fuck? I get angry. I get angry really fast. I don't mean to. It's just when they do this shit, why I oughta. And the worst part is, our grandparents were just trying to vibe. That's it. That's the whole article. That's the entire thing. They were trying to vibe, and Nixon was like, I will have none of that vibing. I will have none of that vibing. Get it out of my country. According to one study in 1978, 13% of marijuana samples tested in the southwestern USA were contaminated with paraquat. Excuse me. Other tests found that anywhere from 20 to 30% of the marijuana that had made its way into the U.S. from Mexico was paraquat tainted. Some samples contained concentrates of paraquat that were 40,000 times higher than the recommended domestic use. 40,000 times higher. 40,000 fold. Good Lord. Why were there so many evil people in the 20th century? Or 21st century, whatever the fuck. Why? 1990, the 1900s, suck my dick. This led to public panic, seeing as how marijuana may have been even more popular in the 70s than it is now. Fly-by-night business made a killing by offering to test if your marijuana has been sprayed by paraquat. A running joke amongst stoner comedians was that they would welcome you if you'd send them marijuana sample for paraquat. Wow. The circumvent in the national outrage, which observed noted had been the first time that American students were really pissed off about something since the early 70s. The government began rolling out plans at least make paraquat pot detectable to the senses. Is there a testing kit that looks for these chemicals? I don't know. I mean, okay, so we did go over a testing kit that tests for pesticides. My fucking caps lock is still... so there are do-it-yourself herbicide kits that I see here. I cannot speak on the quality of them, but they do exist. Growing out yourself. Yeah, that'll ensure that you don't have any fucking herbicides on your shit. So maybe you should try growing weed, foo-foo. I don't know what to tell you. There were suggestions about releasing a red dye along with paraquat. How about you fucking don't spray our shit with paraquat? How about you don't fucking do that shit? What? I'm gonna go beat my fucking head up against a wall. What the fuck are you talking about? Hey, make sure we can avoid the poison. All right, we'll spray red dye with it. How about you just fucking don't? Try what? I'm not shooting myself. I'm not. I don't have suicidal thoughts or actions. I just want everyone to know that. I am a very happy man. I'm just very angry. Then there were plans to also use an extraction of orange peel in the paraquat spray, which the State Department explained would give off pot smokers a foulest smelling joint or brownie they've ever had. I want to give myself a fucking lobotomy. It took a 1978 lawsuit from the National Organization to reform marijuana laws to enforce the government to suspend funding for paraquat spraying in Mexico until comprehensive health study of its effects could be performed. Okay, excuse me, chat. I'm getting a little worked up. I'm gonna go get my dab rig. We're gonna calm down. We're gonna vibe out, and I'm gonna do a rip. I haven't smoked any weed today. Maybe that's my problem. All right, I just need to do what I need to do. Reagan's most hated thing. So, hit the likes for all of that, and also send me your love while I am gone. Sage. Sage, they're putting chemicals in the weed that are making us die. Do you understand that? We have our happy chemicals now, all right? It's not quite serotonin and it's not quite dopamine, but it is tetrahydrocannabidiol, THC. Not me on the way to smoke with him. Are you coming over, bro? Are you coming over? I'm glad you're shooting some dabs full of love my way. Legion's Laboratory. We're happy to see it. Oh my lord. Reagan can't fucking touch me. I got pesticides in my shit. Are you fucking... They left this with no gas in it. My fiance left this with no gas in it. I'll be right back. All right, man. I don't have that much butane left, but it'll be enough to get me through this article. We just gotta not hit all the roadblocks. See, that's what it's supposed to sound like. legions. I try and add happy thoughts to my negative facts. Bees cuddle and hold feet when they can't find their way back to the hive. Google it. The pics are adorable. Yeah, they also fall asleep in flowers, which is fantastic. The best thing I can do is just I don't even know if I'll be fine tomorrow. That's all I can really say about it. I'll be fine tomorrow. All right, I'll forget about Reagan. And is Reagan dead, by the way, or is he still fucking kicking? June 5th, 2004, the 40th President of the United States died of Alzheimer's. Good, fuck him. Alzheimer's disease. The best way for him to go. Fuck that guy. Fucking hate him. Fake fucking Christ. Wish he was assassinated. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. I didn't say that. I don't wish he was assassinated. I'm glad he died from Alzheimer's. Reagan administration sprays crops in Georgia. A scandal erupted in the state of Georgia in 1983 when it was uncovered that the law enforcement officials had aided in smuggling drugs from the south of the border into the USA. They had also facilitated the planting and cultivation of giant weed farms in Georgia. Wow, fuck Chattahoochee Forest. God, if my family wasn't Southern, I would have never got that shit. That's a fucking. Has anyone ever seen Chattahoochee written? I'm gonna copy and paste it into the chat. Just, oh my fucking Christ. I don't know how computers work anymore. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm losing my mind. That's fucking Chattahoochee. You wish he was star in Minecraft for legal reasons? Yeah. For legal reasons, I wish someone burned down his Minecraft village. The Kool-Aid acid experiments or ML Ultra? Do you mean MK Ultra? Or is that a completely different thing? Okay, you did mean MK Ultra. So I've heard of MK Ultra, but I've never heard of the electric Kool-Aid experiment. Should I just look up the gist or what? Because I don't want to read like a whole thing. What's the gist of the electric Kool-Aid experiment? Just drop it in the chat. They dosed the hippies and yippies to stop dissent? Jesus fucking Christ. That's not how that works, man. We're hippies by circumstance, not genetics, you fucking morons. Same reason you're a fucking politician, by the way. Circumstance. Grooming, possibly. In relation, the Reagan administration ordered U.S. helicopters to spray these weed plantations with paraquat, and the DEA vowed to extend the practice to wherever weed was being grown in the USA. So if you had a fucking outdoor garden in the 70s, you're getting your shit sprayed with a helicopter. That's what's fucking happening. No wonder my dad was paranoid of fucking all this shit. For many, purposely damaging the lungs of pot smokers, perhaps fatally, was a punishment that far exceeded the crime. One critic linked the parasites. Am I fucking practice? Wow, that was not at all fucking close. The practice to placing the landmines in nope. It gave them a reason to arrest an otherwise peaceful protest. Putting landmines in no parking zones, that's not a little fucking extreme. They're like, nah, we got this, watch. This is what my daddy did to me, and I turned out fine. He put landmines in where I wasn't supposed to drive, so then when I drove in the wrong spot, I learned my lesson. Jesus. Luckily, the practice was quickly banned due to lawsuits filed based environmental concerns. Can we just fucking say that Reagan is the reason that there's warning labels on shit? Because it seems like he's the cause of a lot of shit that wasn't supposed to happen, and he happens to be right wing. Now, could it be that current conservatives are projecting that energy, saying that apparently idiot liberal alpha generation kids are the ones who are the reason shit like this gets you sued? What? But no, I could fucking see them taking that measure. The 70s were fucking metal. Oh. What? LSD and free Kool-Aid at the rallies? You know, LSD can still be peaceful. So it was probably just still peaceful. It's just that they were like, oh my god, we're going to give away LSD and then we're going to arrest you for taking it, even though you didn't know. You know, here's what I've been saying, Fufu. I've been saying they need to put cocaine back in Coca-Cola so then we can work these fucking hours that everyone wants us to work. Then in 1988, the DEA announced that it would resume spraying marijuana fields with the deadly substance. They were like, psych! Let's fucking try that again, dude. Remember when all those guys died? Yeah. Slay. Literally. Not in those dosages. What the fuck were they doing? Were they just putting like... Was it 1-1 fucking parts of fucking Kool-Aid to LSD? What the fuck were they doing? Jesus. The feds terminated this practice. You know what it could have been? No, it was probably LSD. You're probably right. You know more about it than me. I'd just be fucking speculating and saying dumb shit. The feds terminated the practice in the 1990s, but paraquat remains one of the most commonly used herbicides in the market. And that's normally to kill, like, actual weeds, to get rid of them, from my understanding, to help with gardens and not actually to spray on food, hopefully. These days, it is generally agreed that marijuana use is generally safe. No shit. In hindsight, the paraquat scare of the 1970s and 80s seemed like a case of reefer madness gone wild. It was literally poisoning the water supply. It is unknown how many Americans were disabled or even killed. More than fucking Hitler killed Jews, I can guarantee you that. By this sick, hysterical government policy. It is bitterly ironic that the same government which had for decades tried to insist that marijuana was bad for you had finally found a way to make it bad for you. There's a Senate testimony. If I could fucking spell. By the way, to make myself fucking better at spelling, if I see something like suggested spelled different, I will go back and correct my mistake so I actually fucking learn. There was one dissent given 500 milliliters tied to a chair and left in a warehouse. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god. If I took like 60 milligrams of marijuana edible, just to let you guys know how fucking scared of this situation I would be, and I was tied to a chair, I would either escape or die that day. I would either break the fucking chair into pieces just from how violently I'm shaking to escape it, or I would die in the chair from shattering all my fucking bones and piercing my skin and bleeding from the inside out. I would be so fucking terrified of that situation happening to me. Holy shit. Is it Jerry Garcia? Is that the guy, or is that who wrote the book? I'm fucking lost. There's a 3-minute summary. Should I just go over that? I don't see the Senate testimony. I feel my frontal lobe getting angry. I don't know what that means medically. Here, we'll click on this video.
The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test is a seminal work of new journalism written by American author Tom Wolfe, first published in 1968. This immersive and groundbreaking book offers a comprehensive exploration of the counterculture movement of the 1960s, with a particular focus on the remarkable journey of Ken Kesey and his group of merry pranksters. At its core...
Is this the right thing, or am I completely fucking lost? Am I on the right track here? Oh no, this says published in 1968. Yeah, I'm just fucking lost. You said it was the electric Kool-Aid acid experiment, right? So I just typed in LSD in Kool-Aid protest Reagan, and I'm going to see if it pops up. Okay, so it just popped up with the same thing, so I guess it was the right shit.
At its core, the narrative revolves around Ken Kesey, a charismatic and influential figure who gained literary acclaim with his novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. However, Kesey is perhaps even more renowned for his experimentation.
If you find it, leave it in
the
chat, because I'd love to see it.
With a desire to spread the psychedelic experience and challenge societal norms, Kesey gathers a diverse group of like-minded individuals, known as the Merry Pranksters. Together, they embark on a transformative cross-country journey in a brightly painted school bus named Further. Along the way, they distribute Kool-Aid laced with LSD to the curious and the uninitiated, creating a series of spontaneous and often chaotic happenings that blur the lines between art, life, and consciousness exploration. Tom Wolfe, an accomplished author and journalist, inserts himself into the story as a participant observer, providing readers with an immersive first-hand account of the pranksters' adventures. He dives deep into the mind-altering experiences of the
literally, these guys would just be YouTube pranksters. So it's just the same shit, different decade.
pranksters, their vibrant and colorful personalities, and the profound impact they had on the emerging counterculture of the 1960s. One of the most notable aspects of the electric Kool-Aid acid test is Wolfe's innovative narrative style. He employs new journalism techniques that seamlessly blend traditional reporting with immersive storytelling, making readers feel as though they are right there with the pranksters, experiencing their highs and lows, both literal and metaphorical. Wolfe's vivid prose captures the psychedelic atmosphere of the 1960s,
It's just
complete
prank, bro.
with its unconventional language and kaleidoscopic imagery, as well as the spirit of rebellion and experimentation that defined the era. In summary, the electric Kool-Aid acid test offers readers an intimate and enlightening look into the countercultural revolution of the 1960s. It delves into themes of personal freedom, individuality, and the relentless pursuit of altered states of consciousness. The book serves as an entertaining, thought-provoking, and historically significant examination of a pivotal moment in American cultural history. Over the years, it has remained a classic work, continuing.
So it's just a book about people playing fucking jokes on people, and that just happens to be one of the things? Or is it something completely different? Like, am I... Because this is the only thing that, like, really comes up. In retaliation, the Reagan administration ordered U.S. helicopters to spray these weed plantations with paraquat, and the DEA vowed to extend the practice wherever weed was being grown in the USA. For many, purposely damaging the lungs of pot smokers, perhaps fatally, was a punishment that far exceeded the crime. Capital punishment for smoking a joint? Yeah, fuck you. One critic linked practice to placing landmines and no. I completely misread that. One critic linked the practice to placing landmines in no parking zones. So he just compared it to that kind of situation. I feel fucking stupid. Fail-based experiment concerns. Then in 1988, the DEA announced that it would resume spraying marijuana fields with the deadly substance because they said psych. Okay, we already read this entire article. That shit was fucked. Good lord. Shout out to Legion's Laboratory for bringing up that little piece of history that we all just get to so fondly remember. How many people smoked pot in 1975? Oh, the title of this article is 50 years ago. Researchers thought Americans outgrew marijuana. Bitch, are you fucking dumb? January 29, 1972, approximately 24 million Americans. So we pull up a calculator here. 24 million times point. What did they say? 20%? 0.2. So did Hitler kill how many? Okay. How many people died in the Holocaust? Okay, so 6 million people died in the Holocaust. 6 million. Ronald Reagan, according to the math of 1972, he potentially killed 4.8 million people. $3 million what? What are you referring to? Are you referring to the people Reagan killed or the Holocaust? Because it says just 6 million Jewish people. And he was also killing black people and gypsies and basically people who weren't blonde and blue-eyed. So it was more than 6 million, but 4.8 million people potentially dying because Reagan was trying to swing his big dick around and try to put the people in a permanent timeout, let's say. Absolutely absurd. But with that knowledge, I had a great time going over the stream and talking about current pesticides and past herbicides. I feel like it was a pretty quality stream. I learned a little bit, got some new vocabulary in. Ronald Reagan is burning in hell. There's not a whole lot to say, but very happy you guys joined Legion's Laboratory. What is the 3 million referring to? Please answer me in the chat. I need to know, or else I'm gonna drive myself nuts. But I did have a great time. Everyone drop your goodbyes and see you laters, and I hope you all have a good night. We'll take one more dab. Just cause. Because this is my stream, and I'm my boss. All right. See you guys, but I'm getting tired and also need to bathe.